So to start, I love kind of, you have a moment in this movie where you switch from being like that dad who kind of like roughhouses with his son to like a man who very clearly does not care about this, who hates this child. And it was such a cool kind of journey to track. When you're looking at a character that has to go through that journey, how do you as an actor map out where those beats would kind of hit?
Literally by doing that, by mapping it out. By the first time I read it, I'm going like, all right, I'll do this here, and then I'll save that, save it, reveal it here, and then confuse it here, and then backtrack here, do all that kind of stuff, you know. So honestly, you're mapping it out in your head. I guess I've been doing it for such a long time now that I don't necessarily need to write it all down. I kind of know, after reading the script the first time, I know what I'm going to do, and then the rest of the reads, the more I read it, the more I refine what I'm going to do, but it's in my head a lot of the time. I used to have like a notebook and have everything all written in the script was all like scribbled over and all that kind of stuff now, but it's different now. You just sort of, you sort of metabolize it in a way that it's not quite as intellectual anymore, you know?
This is slightly weird, but also like it makes sense for me. I've seen you do theater, like I saw Cyrano when it was in New York.
Oh, cool, thank you.
And you do this thing with your voice at one point that it gets really deep and gravelly when you're like talking about something.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot in your movies when you're doing like more sinister things.
Aye.
It kind of like switches into that. Do you like kind of approaching characters based on their voice and where it sits within your voice?
I do, and sometimes it is conscious, but a lot of the times it's just what ends up happening. Because you don't become the character, I never become the character, but you become the actor that the story needs. And so sometimes, that sounds really wanky, became the actor that the story needed. But yeah, that happens a lot. The voice of a character will just sort of happen a bit naturally as well, and I don't know why that is, but it's good, and I know when it's happening, I'm like, oh, that's feels true for the role, feels true for the character, even though it's not necessarily myself, you know?
Yeah, and in this movie, I love how music kind of plays a part. And you talked about notebooks, which I know a lot of actors, they will make playlists, because I used to do it in theater school, but like, did music help you at all in kind of creating this movie, since it is such an important part of Speak No Evil?
Weirdly not for this film. I don't remember listening to music for Paddy. There's been a couple of roles that I've played. It's mainly on stage that I listen to music for a role. For movies, I don't think I really ever rely on music, unfortunately. I'm not that into music, isn't that weird?
Yeah,
People are like quite often shocked when I tell them that. They're like, what's your favourite band? I'm like, no.
Nothing.
Don't know. What kind of music do you listen to? Whatever anybody else has decided to play. Honestly, I'm not that musically orientated.
Oh, I love that. But for our last question, you get to be Scottish in this, which I feel like sometimes you do, sometimes you don't get to be Scottish in a lot of things.
I'm not Scottish in this, no.
What were you doing then?
He's from the West Country, so he's English. Yeah.
Well, see, I got excited. I thought you got to be Scottish. And I was like, my Scottish king is finally again. Well, when you get to do accents, what for you is the most fun about getting to like do a different accent from your own?
I don't know. I don't really know. Enjoy the challenge of it. Do you know what it is that I think is helpful is that when I'm talking right now, my muscles are orientated in a certain way in my throat and in my face and in my mouth and my tongue and in my lips are all doing certain things. I don't want to get totally conscious about it, about tongue placement and lip placement and diphthongs and all that stuff. But when you do a different accent successfully, everything changes in your throat, your lips, your face, your mouth, your tongue. It changes, and then that physical change informs your mental process as well, and so you get a mental change because it's not just your brain affects your body affects your brain, so it helps you feel, it helps you become something different than you are, I think, just by doing an accent.
Yeah, and I love watching all of your movies, so I really loved this one. I thought you did such a great job.
Thanks a million, cheers.
Nice to see you.